Talking about District 12 1A Division 2, which is six-man football, and it includes the Trinidad Trojans, the Bynum Bulldogs, the Mount Calm Panthers, and the Oakwood Panthers. Now, Bynum is under the direction of Casey Morgan. They went 8-4 last year and 3-0 in district play, and they return 3 starters on offense, 4 starters on defense. Mount Calm is coached by Garrett Rose, and they went 5-5 last year, 1-2 in district, and they returned 4 starters on offense and 4 starters on defense. And Oakwood is coached by J.J. Johnson, and they went 6-6 last year, area finalist, 3-0 in district play, and they returned 6 starters on offense and 6 starters on defense. I'm not going to tell you about the Trinidad Trojans. I'm going to let Coach Michael Warren, who we were able to sit down and talk with the other day, he's going to tell you all about the Trinidad Trojans. So here is head coach of the Trojans, Coach Michael Warren. All right, Coach Warren, let's talk about last year. You finished with a 5-5 record, 1-2 in district play. So just talk a little bit about last season for me.
Last season, man, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, man, it was kind of a growing season. We had a young team, man, and we got some kids that are stepping up this year that are going to be seniors, and we had a young freshman group. And that's the reason that you'll see that we grew as the season grew on. I mean, we took our bumps and bruises early in the season, but as the kids matured and basically helped up in their varsity positions, man, they grew at that. You know what I mean? We got some football games on our belt that we could have won, and that we did win. It was a big change when we played Tyler King's Academy, man. We came over to Tyler Grace, man, and we played those guys, and that was, I think, a turning point in our season. That's when the young guys realized that they could do what they had to. We ended up getting an incident where one of my athletes kind of got into some mouthing, so I pulled him out of the game, and it's like it sparked interest in our kids, and they stepped up and they played what they needed to do, which was huge. Went into district, man. I thought we had a chance to get out, and we did. We went down last game of the season. We played Apple Springs. We ended up beating Apple Springs. However, we was in a point struggle there to see who was going to go to the playoffs. And my freshman running back fumbled the football with 30 seconds left on the 3-yard line. Apple Springs recovered, and that would have put us into the playoffs. So the kids on the school bus, it was a good ride home, man, because I heard kids already talking about next year. Hey, next year we're going to do this and stuff like that. So I think they grew on that, and I think they have an opportunity to see what the potential they could be. And you can see through the summer workouts, those kids are maturing a little bit more. They're taking leadership roles, and they're doing a lot better in that.
Well, and I want to ask, six-man football, it's a lot different than if nobody's ever watched six-man, I'd like to tell them it's a track meet on a football field, because it's essentially what it is. How different is it coaching six-man as compared to an 11-man team? What are kind of the different strategies that you have to use during six-man?
Really, you have to be in shape. It's something, you know what I mean, for us to go out, and my kids will tell you, I mean, yesterday we did, during summer workouts, I call it 30 minutes of hell, you know what I mean? And it's just 30 minutes of, we're conditioning, we're doing flutter kicks, we're doing all different types of exercises, and that gets them into that environment. I mean, my kids will tell you there's nothing that at the end of practice, we won't run 40-40s, you know what I mean? A lot of teams, six-man, they'll take their players a mile off, drop them off, and tell them when they get back, we're going to practice, because a 300-yard game is good, and we're going to be happy about that. But you know, I mean, you're not hearing about an athlete like a Grayson Riggin or somebody like that unless they're 400, 500 yards a game as a running back. I mean, we're giving our running back, he's getting 28 to 30 touches, and then that kid's not only doing that. Well, after he scores a 60-yard touchdown, he's the one that's kicking a field goal. So he has to get his breath to kick that field goal. And then right after that, he's doing the kickoff. And then now he's my linebacker on defense. So it's a lot of conditioning. The prep work, I think that, man, Mike Reed from Gordon, which is a mentor of mine, Terry Crawford from Abbott, which is another great mentor of mine. I mean, basically, it's kind of like basketball and football field when you really think about it. You know what I mean? It's how can I get my best player to get that one-on-one coverage that I can win and I can do. So that's a lot of prepping, and a lot of stuff like that is kind of like you have to think in kind of a basketball mindset. And I hate to put it that way because I'm a football guy, you know what I mean? But that's kind of the vision of it.
That's a good point though. That is it. We talk about track on a football field. Basketball on a football field is probably more accurate, like you said, with the ISOs and all that.
For sure.
Let's talk about the district realignment. So every 2 years, UIL realigns the districts. You're in a district with Oakwood, Bynum, and Mount Calm. How familiar are you with these teams, and what do you know about this district?
Well, Oakwood, ever since I've been here, going on my 5th year, we've always had to play Oakwood. Oakwood's always, man, they always got talent. They always have good coaching over there, and they got kids that want to play, man. So that's something that we always shoot for. That's something that I'm always putting in their head. That hey, this is a team that we got to go out and get. And like I said, man, they do a phenomenal job over there and got great athletes. So we're pretty familiar with those guys, speed wise and all that. Bynum, Mount Calm, we had an opportunity to play them. I tried scrimmaging them with us being so spread out, you know what I mean, and them only being an hour down the road. We've always kind of played them. Last year we played Mount Calm. We ended up beating them by 1 at the end of the football game. They did a great job. We had them down by 30 at the half, and they ended up fighting back. And then they're bringing in an 8th grade group that's got some talent. So we kind of know them. Bynum, one of my best friends coaches at Bynum, Casey Morgan. We talk all the time, and that's the thing about 6-man football, man. We trade secrets. Like he'll ask me, "Hey, what offense you running?" And I'll say, "Hey, this is my offense." You know what I mean? What defense was? I mean, well, we just had a coaching plan 2 weeks ago, and I drew up my offense. Said, "How would you guard this on defense?" And he's going to tell me. You know what I mean? Hey, this is how I'm gonna do it. Casey, man, he does a phenomenal job. He gets his kids out there. They step out on the football field mentally. A lot of people think, hey, I'm gonna go out and beat this football team, man, but he has his kids prepared and man, they work hard and they do things. So I think it's gonna be a great district. I think it's a great battle. It's a great alignment. My goal for my team is to be 9-0 going into the Oakwood game. That's the last game of the season, and we're determining who's district champs there.
Well, and that kind of brings me into my next question is you've talked about growing up last year, how the kids grew up a little bit last year. What are your expectations coming in this season? I know obviously you want to make the playoffs, like you said, 9-0 and have that district championship game against Oakwood, but what are you looking for this year out of the team compared to last season?
And I told the guys this last night during workouts, you know what I mean, during our summer workouts, I said, we've and I'm not ashamed to say we played beginner football for so many years. You know what I mean? Now it's time to grow because the kids understand they've been under the system. We've been working with them for about 4 years, so it's easy to talk. Now we're talking about things that big football programs are talking about because our kids are there, they're established. You know what I mean? Where we come into programs, and I'm not just saying here, but people have adopted programs that's like, okay, we're just running sweep right, sweep left, and kids don't understand the A gap, the B gap, the C gap, and so my kids are getting there. They understand that. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this coach was talking about like kids are athletes, you know what I mean, and they're great, but we're getting kids at college that don't understand a cover 2, a cover 3 defense, and so I was like, man, this guy's crazy because we've been running it for years, right? I go out and I ask my kids, hey, what's the purpose of a cover 2? My kids couldn't tell me. So that's my fault. You know what I mean? So that's where we said, hey, this is the purpose. Yeah, y'all know what y'all doing, but we're to the point where we got to understand what we got to do. And we're instead of doing, hey, we're starting to do key reads. We're starting to do just some stuff that the football programs around us have been doing forever. But I think my kids are at that level now that they understand it and they comprehend the football lingo. And we're growing from that.
And the other part of that is once you know what you're doing, you can play faster. You're not thinking. You're now just reacting and playing as opposed to trying to think about, oh, well, do I need to go to A gap or B gap or who am I keying? Sure. It makes it a little easier and they can play faster and more free too. So, yes, well, Coach Warren, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us this morning, and best of luck to the Trinidad Trojans this year on a good year.
All right. Thank you for your time, man. If you need anything, let us know.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. You bet.